Hey guys, I'm Luigi and you are watching Our Fiction. So 2 weeks ago we posted a video called Blood of Olympus Theories and Predictions, in which I discussed my theories and predictions for the book Blood of Olympus. And last week, October 7th, Blood of Olympus was released in bookstores all over the world, and I got my copy and I finished it within 3 days. On this video, I am going to make a book review about Blood of Olympus. So the moment I finished the book, the moment I read the last words, the last sentence on this book, I was just left hanging. I felt like the ending was another cliffhanger, and Rick Riordan purposely wanted us to feel hanging. There was so much stuff in this book that weren't really explained clearly. So if you haven't read the book yet, or any of the previous Heroes of Olympus books, I strongly suggest that you leave this video now. I wouldn't want to spoil your reading because this is such a great book and I want you guys to enjoy reading it. So if you haven't read it yet, please leave the video. So I was left hanging because there were a lot of unclear stuff in this book. One of them is what happened to the hunters and the Amazons. We didn't see any more of them after Reina, Nico, and Coach Hedge left them battling Orion. Yes, we know that they're safe and that they're alive, but Thalia and Reina's sister, we didn't see any more of them in the book, so I was left hanging with questions like what happened to them and what will they do next. Next up, Apollo's punishment. We all know that Zeus blames Apollo for prematurely revealing the great prophecy, and we know that Apollo is going to be punished for that, but it wasn't revealed in the book. I want to know what happens to Apollo. What is his punishment? You ask me, a good punishment that Zeus could give to Apollo is state him as the director, the new director of Camp Half-Blood. Next is Rachel. We all know that there's something going on in Delphi, and that's the reason why Apollo can use his abilities of prophecy, which affected Rachel. I want to know more what happens to Rachel's abilities as the Oracle. And yes, we know that Rachel, Tyson, and Ella are headed to Camp Jupiter to check out the books that Ella has collected. I want to know more because Rachel is one of the characters in the first Percy Jackson series, and what happens to her? I'm really curious. Next question that I have, what happens to Leo and Calypso? Last we saw them, they're flying away from Ogygia aboard Festus. That's it. We don't see any more of them, and we don't know for sure what they're going to do. I want to know more about that. Next, Bob the Titan and Damascene. So these two characters, we've met them in the House of Hades book, and we fell in love with their character. And Bob and Damascene's names were mentioned in the book in Blood of Olympus. We don't know if they survived with that battle against Tartarus himself. Lastly, we have Solangelo. Oh my god, Solangelo. Oh my god, Solangelo is just really So this ship, you guys have to ship this ship. You've read the Blood of Olympus. You need to be shipping Solangelo because they're just cute together. They're so cute together, and I want to see more of them. I want to see more Solangelo. And if you guys have fanfics about Solangelo, please send them to me because I want to read more. Next, while I was reading the book, I was wishing that they showed Camp Jupiter because I want more Camp Jupiter scenes. So I've got a few remarks for the Blood of Olympus book. First is that it was so full of humor, and it was just hilarious from the start to the very end. It'll keep you guys laughing, crying, and at the edge of your seats while reading. And it's just amazing how Rick Riordan puts these elements together and creates one awesome book. Next is the Reina and Nico chapters. I love their chapters. Reina, I wasn't a fan of Reina in the previous books, but her chapters made me love her and understand more of her. Because in the previous books, we just see that she's this strong girl who has something missing inside of her. And her chapters just gave us that. It gave off more of her personality to the readers, and I love that. And Nico's chapters, we've all known Nico D'Angelo from the first Percy Jackson series. I absolutely love him since his first appearance in Titan's Curse. But in Blood of Olympus, in his chapters, it made me love him even more. I worship Nico. He's just amazing, and his chapters gave us ideas and made him feel his pain, and it made us understand why he acts that way, why he acts like an outcast, why he pushes away himself from everyone else. On the 3/4 part of the book, there were so many things that Rick has put in there, and it was kind of too much, and it all happened real fast, and I felt that he could have expanded more on those, that this book could have had 100 pages more. So now let's talk about the characters in the book and how they developed from Lost Hero to Blood of Olympus. So let's start with Jason. In this book, we see more of Jason's side. It made me understand him more and more, like how much he struggles in being a son of Jupiter. The pressure, the responsibility, and everyone's eyes is just on him, focused on him. Like, what's next, Jason? You're the son of Jupiter. Tell us what to do next. Next we've got Piper, and I don't know what to say to you guys, because Piper is amazing in this book. He stepped up from the little Aphrodite girl who everyone expects nothing from, into a core member of the group. God's her charm speak just got even more powerful. Next we've got Leo. Leo in this book just got a little bit darker because he's taking a step away from the others aboard the Argo 2. He's being more and more secretive, and he just took the prophecy upon himself. And I'm kind of disappointed with Leo's character here in Blood of Olympus, because he just got really obsessed with Calypso. It turned me off because I love Leo. He's cheerful, he's funny and enthusiastic, but his head was just wrapped around Calypso. Calypso everything, Calypso this, Calypso that. Like, in the end, how Leo prioritized Calypso over his friends. The moment Leo died, I kind of expected him to show up to Jason and Piper and say, "Hey, I'm okay, and I'm off to find Calypso now." But no. He just disappeared without a trace, without any goodbyes. It was disappointing Next we've got Percy and Annabeth. They didn't get chapters in this book, because as Rick Riordan said, they had their turn in House of Hades. This is the last book, and I want a Percy chapter at least. One Percy chapter would have made me happy. One Percy chapter would have made me happy. But yeah, it's okay since I liked how Rick diverted the story from Percy to Jason. I loved how Percy was made a lesser character in this book and made Jason shine. Just the other demigods, they stood out even more because Percy went a step back in this book, and a lot of people in the book hated that. But let me tell you this, Percy and Annabeth just got out of Tartarus. Do you expect them to be the same, Percy and Annabeth, before falling into Tartarus? No. Of course they would have changed in Tartarus. They just got darker. They just got out of the eternal pit where monsters are naturally from. Next we've got Reina and Nico. As I've said earlier, I loved Reina and Nico in this book. Nico, we got to see more of his powers. We've known that Nico is in the same league as Percy and Jason because he's a son of Hades, who is part of the big three. But we've never seen him in his power before. So in this book, we just saw him all out. He just unleashed all of Hades in one paragraph. Finally, we see how he feels, and he is just amazing in this book, and you see his character change emotionally and socially, because finally at the end of the book Nico has decided to stay in Camp Half-Blood, and that is really amazing. I am really happy for him. I am so glad that I'm so glad that he got his happy ending that he really very much deserved after all the hardships he has been through. I love how in this book how Piper and Annabeth coordinated with one another and how their ideas connected together to solve their problems. My favorite part would be all the Nico chapters in the book. Many of us thought that we'd be sobbing after reading the book, but we weren't. The ending of this book, it was equally happy and equally tragic, but it's a perfect ending. It could have been better, but how Rick Riordan ended this book was perfect. It was perfect. There were some parts that I didn't like personally, but all in all the ending was perfect, and only one part of the book made me really cry, and it wasn't out of sadness or feels. I cried because the moment was really, really awesome. And that part would be when the 7 demigods were fighting the giants in Greece, and then the gods of Olympus just went down and helped their children and battled side by side with them. That part of the book was so awesome. It was so friggin' awesome that it made me cry. It made me cry, like real tears. It made me cry. It was so awesome. And yeah, that's all for this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching. Again, thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and hope you guys watch more of our videos. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do subscribe and tell your friends.